Hello and welcome back to another action-packed edition of Destiny News, where today we're going to be taking a look at the rather extensive Game Informer article published yesterday. There is a ton of new gameplay info featured here. Unfortunately, I am not allowed to post any of the screenshots within the article, and some of them were awesome. I highly suggest picking up a copy of the magazine if you want to take a look at the screenshots. Plus, this edition of Game Informer is full of other goodies regarding other games as well. Anyway, let's get started. Character customization. We knew a little bit about the races of Destiny, so let's explore a little bit more. The humans obviously survived what is now being referred to as the Collapse, which is when the aliens invaded, ending the Golden Age. The Awoken survived too, but all that is said about them was that they were changed forever. The Exo are actually self-aware machines with erased memories. They were built during the Golden Age, but we don't know why just yet. You'll be able to select your gender, customize your face, your hair, and even tattoos. Now if that worries you because of the helmet, then good news, because in non-combat areas, your helmet will be removed for all to see, like in the tower. Speaking of which, the tower is the official recognized home base for the Guardians. There are vendors, areas to turn in special quests, areas to hang out with fellow Guardians, but also special class-focused areas for all three classes to meet with each other individually. Each class gets its own special piece of clothing as well. Only Hunters get the cape, only Warlocks get the robe, and only Titans get the leg patches. As for the other areas, Old Russia is the first major location, where players will explore the ruins of the Cosmodrome, which is modeled after modern-day Kazakhstan, the location of the launch site for the Russian space program. In Destiny, it remained a very important location during the Golden Age, which is why there are so many untouched spaceships. While the E3 demo featured a linear area, once you go into the public area, that area goes into a free-roaming style of play. You get to go where you choose. Venus, as suspected, is home to the Vex. What was once a scientific research area is now overgrown and overtaken by jungle. The Venusian Ocean, I believe I'm saying that right, has risen, taking over all of the old buildings. The Vex Citadel stands tall, but with an unknown purpose. Mars was once a grand city, now buried under mountains of red sand. Under that sand you'll find plenty of Cabal, but also a few Vex, due to the fact that the Vex are also at odds with the Cabal. Finally, the Moon, as we know, is home to the Hive. The Hellmouth is where their dig into the Moon began, with a large network of tunnels and caves hidden within. When exploring in general, side missions can pop up anywhere, even during a mission that you're currently on. However, they are never required. You can do them if you want, or you can just keep moving along. A large part of Destiny is exploration, where you go off and find something to do on your own, but it's also the desire to return to an area that you couldn't previously access. An example given was how a group was venturing out in Old Russia and came across some very difficult enemies. It's obviously a much better idea to tackle them once they have better gear. Focus. Focus is what you'll be using to progress your character along to level cap. Focus functions as a subclass for your Guardian, or for you MMO players, a specialization, or a spec. They grant things like passive abilities, grenade types, with other things unlocking as you level. Each focus can be leveled from 1 to 20. It is also mentioned that you will level your character to 20 as well. 20 appears to be the level cap. Regardless of your focus, each tree in each focus offers the following: grenade types, movement options, melee bonuses, passives, and weapon specialties. The grenade types range from homing to proximity. The movement option refers to your vertical movement options, which could be something like a short-range teleport or a double jump. There are also options to upgrade your melee attack and super ability. Guardians will also need matching gear to fit their focus. Focuses are supposed to synergize with your gear. All gear can come with some kind of bonus to your stats, so it's important to pick and choose wisely gear that matches with your focus. The nice thing about focus is that it acts like a piece of equipment. You can simply swap it in and out along with your other focuses, easily changing from, let's say, a DPS spec over to a support role. For the Warlock, you start out with the Circle of Night focus, which is the glass cannon DPS build that comes with the Nova Bomb super ability. Heart of Fusion is another focus, which is more support focused. It allows for the use of Radiance, which buffs allies and can revive them if need be. One of the Titan's foci is one that you'd expect, a close quarters build for bursting into a heavily fortified area. This uses Fist of Havoc, which can be upgraded later. For example, you can upgrade Fist of Havoc to leave an electrical field in the area that you cast the ability, where enemies will take more damage. The Hunter starts out with the Gunslinger focus, focusing on high single target damage. The super ability is Ghost Gun, which is a mystical weapon that can one-hit kill most enemies. It sounds like they changed the name from Golden Gun to Ghost Gun. There's no confirmation, but given that Golden Gun does exactly what Ghost Gun does, I think we can assume it for the time being. My guess for the change is that they want the Hunter to be more stealthy, and having a gold gun, well, it doesn't exactly say stealth, now does it? Ghost Gun can also be upgraded with an immolation effect, setting your enemies on fire. Yeah, fire. Enemies. We all know who our enemies are. The Fallen, the Cabal, the Vex, and the Hive. But we have learned more about what types of each enemy species there are, and a little bit more information beyond that as well. Let's start with the Fallen. The Fallen consists of Dregs, Vandals, and Captains. Dregs are the lowest on the list. In fact, they're so low that they've had 2 of their arms removed. Vandals are the next step up, with the Captains rounding them out. Fallen also like to enter battle with Shanks to help them, which are hovering turrets. The Cabal are big and boastful. Everything about them is huge. Legionnaires are the front line and head straight for battle. Centurions have jump jets that propel them around the battlefield quickly. Gladiators are even bigger and lead by wielding giant Gatling guns. They aren't all brawn though, with Scions being a smaller variety of Cabal, bringing a more magical punch to the fight. The Vex are quite varied in their forms. Goblins swarm and overwhelm, with hobgoblins being a larger version of the goblin, differentiated by their tail. Minotaurs are even larger, who feature 3 glowing eyes and broad shoulders. Hydras are like flying centipedes, where each segment of their body fires its own turret. And finally, Harpies are smaller, but fly all over the place in order to attack. You'll want to shoot Vex not in their fortified heads, but in their gooey power core-filled centers. The Hive are just as varied. Thralls attack in giant mobs, unarmored and unarmed, with the intent to overwhelm. Troopers do most of the fighting, aided by Knights who wield giant cleavers. Wizards unleash spells and fly around you to attack. Finally, there's the Ogre, which is just a gigantic monster which can fire a purple energy beam from its head. That sounds very familiar, doesn't it? An example of one is our old friend Fogoth. Competitive multiplayer, strikes, and raids. The main thing we learned about with competitive multiplayer is that factions play a major role. How these factions will impact the game is still to be determined, other than the fact that the factions want Guardians to go out into the world and take back previously owned areas for themselves. There will be a variety of competitive multiplayer game modes in Destiny, from your team deathmatch to a smaller variety of TDM where you get points for killing your enemies, but also for finding your downed teammates and reviving them. Another mode was a domination-style game mode where there are 3 nodes on the field. Holding these nodes grants scoring multipliers. Players will start games without heavy ammo, having to lock down certain parts of the map to ensure that their team gains control of the precious ammo. A lot of the competitive multiplayer is focused on verticality, being able to get higher up in the map for positional advantage using your special vertical movement skills. Maps are also dynamic, with shifting platforms and environments. While you'll be able to use your super abilities, Bungie really hammers down the fact that this is first and foremost a first-person shooter with regards to every aspect of the game. A strike is the PvE equivalent of competitive multiplayer. You and 2 other members of your group or pickup group venture out to complete a specific mission. For example, our friend Fogoth is at the end of one of these strike missions, and at the end, you can grab your own sweet loot. Remember that everyone gets their own loot in Destiny, there are no ninjas. You're sent right to the destination as well after you choose it in your menu, but you can choose to explore the destination once you're done. A raid is a story mission where your mettle is really tested, with high skill level encounters for larger groups. I didn't really know where else to stick this, but Glimmer is confirmed as the currency, a rare energy-based substance from the Golden Age. Weapons, armor, and vehicles. Weapons and armor are classified in rarity in the following way. Basic is white, green is common, purple is superior, and gold is exotic. As for exotic items, only one exotic weapon and one exotic armor piece can be worn at a time, probably to ensure that no one player gets too powerful. But you can still carry as many pieces of exotic armor and weaponry as you want. All of these exotic weapons we've been seeing have their own special passive bonuses once leveled up. For example, Red Death will improve health regen, Closing Time will cloak the wielder while scoped in, and Gallarhorn will place sentries at the point of explosion to take out enemies nearby. I'm not sure how the cloaking will work for Closing Time, but my guess would be something like this. The user is heavily cloaked with invisibility, but is still possible to see with a sharp eye. When killing enemies, an XP bar increases in count, leveling all of your currently equipped gear, which also includes your focus. Weapons will have 3 color-coded ammo types, one for primary, one for secondary, and one for heavy. As for vehicles, we get even more confirmation that you'll get your own non-combat ground vehicle and a personal spaceship which you use to warp from planet to planet. You'll be able to steal enemy vehicles, but it doesn't appear that you'll be able to keep them. Well, that was certainly a lot to go over. I think I got everything. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. What was your favorite part? Mine was definitely finding out about focus and learning how specializations will work. Well everyone, that is all from me today. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. When exploring in general, side missions can pop up anywhere, even during a mission that you're... Are you done, motorcycle? Are you done?